Madam,
Yo.
these are the baskets that I got here. This is a basket that my mother got from her sister, Achtigaich, and my mother are actually first cousins, but they both lost their parents, so they were raised up by Nuxalk, their uncle Nuxalk.
What is it made out of?
I'm not too sure if it's made out of either cedar or spruce. I was a young girl when I watched Achtigaich make this for my mother in Achtigaich's house. And I watched how she worked with it as she was peeling the bark off. It was a strange way how she did it. She did it between two boards. And pulled the bark off.
Well, that sounds like, that work there sounds like doing spruce roots.
Yeah.
And how people work with roots. So maybe it was a combination. Maybe it's cedar for these ups and downs, and then spruce for the twisties back and forth, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And my mother used it for many years. You can see that it got worn out because she had her needles that she made nets with. I helped my mother make hooligan nets when I was younger by sitting for hours and hours just working away, tying knots. So I learned how to work on nets as well, as good as my mom, I believe. But yeah, but I know how she did it. She stripped this off, the round rods. And she wrapped it, each one individually around about, what, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch. She's a very crafty woman. And when she was weaving it, she wasn't even looking at her weaving. She was talking to my mom. It was amazing how she also put another strip right around, and then there was a sort of a flat piece going here, and these barks went around like that and around the rod, and then she'd fold over the other one and just carry it around and around, so you could see that it's wrapped here. But every one of these spokes here are folded over and wrapped individually. So she sort of, this is what a basket I'm weaving right now. So you sort of, when you're wrapping, you will take it and you will put your cedar and wrap and keep folding it like it is there, and just wrap right around.
Is that white or yellow
This
cedar?
is yellow cedar. I was making a little basket for, I usually make it for gifts, but there's a hump here, so it's probably going to end up being a hat eventually. And this is the basket I made with willow, the red, is it red willow?
Yeah.
The red willow?
What do they call that? Dust.
And these I made, I was going to use it, we use this for, you know, cooking around the fire or grabbing things with, or grabbing things from out of a pot like that. That's what, I made these when I was younger. Something we made because we didn't have tools when we went out into the bush, but in a bush we can make these very carefully if we're cooking in a fire and you need to take something out of it. Or yeah, and this is the basket. It's getting beaten up now because I made a laundry basket for myself, so that's what this was.
So I see that the middle one is split, and so are the two side ones, eh? Mm-hmm. So you have
There's three rods going through this way, and then you split the inside and you put 3 more inside. So you see that?
Yeah.
See how they're split? So you will
And then you add pieces in beside them
that.
where needed. As you're making it bigger, you add pieces in and just double them up.
And then you get some rope of some kind to tie the 3 together so that they're very tight. It shrinks after a while, so you could see that it very well shrunk. When you go through here, you'll look what I used. I used moose hide to tie it. My auntie, my sister Mary Jane McCune used to give me moose hide, and then there's the bar. So these are the sticks that go in between. You see this stick I was explaining to you earlier?
Yeah.
It's right here, right? But I decided to go further, so I went further on. And then you add a nut for these spokes here. You just push them in and you add it right beside the bar of the ones that go across. You just stick it in there, and then what I was explaining to you about tying it up later is, for example, you got a big stick like this that you want to put in here and tie. So I'll pretend to put this in here like that. You put that in there, and you want to make your basket as high as you want. You will take it and get your spokes all around here. Put the spokes around, so this will have a big fan of spokes hanging out. Then you're going to tip it over like this, and then you're going to take them up, and you're going to tie them with a cedar or a rope, whatever you have, and you can have all the spokes tied up together like this. They're wet, so when it dries, they will have that curve. If you don't want to have a round basket, you could do the same thing with just having them straight across like that, and weave it just like the way Achtigike weaved this here. You could do a straight one like this as well, but you're going to have rods going around this way, and just like this, right? And then you're going to have the spokes going through, and then it's going to be rectangular. And then you're going to take your spokes and you're going to go in between each one like that. See, I'll use a smaller part. Each one like that. So you split your rods. It's going to go in there, and then you're going to pull them up like this, and there would be your spokes there.
This basket here is interesting to me.
Yeah, it is, because I don't know how old I was when Achtigike was making it for my mom. I may have been about 5 to 7 years old, because my memories go very, very far.
I like how it has this sort of diagonal pattern, and that's because it's got a 3-strand pattern. So it goes over 2, under 2, over 2, under 2. Then the next one, 4-strand pattern. It goes over 2, under 2, over 2, under 2, all the way across, and so you end up with these nice looking
like
patterns like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite. I think I'm going to have to try that now.
We have to go in. It's time to go pick the cedar bark now. The cedar roots. I mean, when we pick the cedar roots, we have to find a really nice clear spot. Like it can't be in a mountainside, because there's too many rocks in Bella Coola. If you could find a sandy beach where there's a nice big cedar, like a cedar tree, so the roots will go really nice along the sand, and then you will get a really nice straight root. You know what, like, say these are the, is this what you got?
No, the ones that I got, they're in the box there. If you look right behind you.
Oh yeah. So you see how these roots are here? So let's hope this is wet enough, and I will get a nice so if you take the cedar, so this is where I saw Achtigike put this inside the stove, and it warms up something, and then it just, like, she opened her drum stove like that, and then she had a stick similar to something like this, that, like a, what do you call it, a clamp one, and then she put it in the stove or on top of the stove to steam it, and what happens is all the bark comes off really nicely, right? Like that. And then you split this in half. You try to get right into the center of it so that you're getting it right in half. And you could split it in half again, Okay, I got getting so far here. And then, so I'll rip this off so you can see it. And then you would take, you'll see there's a triangle there, but you don't want to weave with that triangle part there. So you're going to take this off. So that's how they make it flat. So on the spruce tree, on a spruce, using spruce, this part here that had the triangle is the ones we use for the spokes of the hat or of the basket. So it will be this used for this part, but I see Achtigai didn't use that. She used the same.
Looked like she used maybe cedar strips for that.
Yeah, see, and then, but this part here won't be good for weaving, so you want this flat part for weaving. So that's what you would use to weave your hat or your basket. And of course you would take this off here. Could you see what I'm telling you about?
Yeah, so what I understand is you'll skin it.
So you're gonna, yeah.
Using maybe by like steaming or something
Fire,
like that, or like you were saying, she would put it between two sticks and it would kind of scrape off as
no,
well.
that'd be a clamp, sort of like, so that she would hold it instead of on top of the fire. So it heats it up, and it, especially you do that right when you pick them in the spring because it still has the sap on it, and then you sort of heat it up, and then it sort of makes the sap run or something, and it's easy to pull off. Like it comes off really easy, the skin. Oh, I call it the skin, but it's a little bark around it, right? We call it the skin.
Yes, tweenleets.
Yeah. So then that is the appropriate spoke to weave in, or the weaver, so you can see that it's exactly what Achtigai did here. You see that? Mm-hmm. That's how she got it. This was 4 of these were once a round root.
Huh.
And then what she did was she did the same thing I did, was cut this part off, and she probably used it for something else. And then this part then could be the 4 individual marks that I got in here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how she gets these spokes from the tree. That's how they're done.
Very cool.
Weird, eh?
So down, those, if you look down under there, there's another string, that one. Oh. And that one I think is cedar roots, but like you were saying, I got those from a place that had a long sandy beach.
Oh, yeah.
I think I actually got those from, or some of those, I think I got them from Rediscovery, from Cedar Hole.
Oh, so these ones are what you could just weave with.
Yeah.
A hole like this, right? Because they're small enough.
And that's what I've done before. I've woven baskets just out of those.
Baskets like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you just, so what I see Achtigai do was she had a stick like this that was nailed to a sort of like a stump. So it was like a 2x4 or a post. Can't remember. I just could see that post. But I can't remember if this post was square or round. And then, so it had something like that there. So she would put this here inside here like this. And it was set up for her on a bench. Monaco, they had hanging benches.
Yeah.
My mom had a hanging bench, and then you pull it like that. See?
Yeah. Oh, sure enough, it works.
Yeah, I haven't done this for years. And then you pull it like that, and then as you're pulling it, it scrapes off the bark for you. That's what I witnessed her do. When I was very,
that's easier than the way that I did it, because when I made a basket and peeled it all, before I used my fingernails.
Oh.
I think it's still tied up there, but
yeah, but that's I just show you how I saw her do it, like that, and then of course she used her fingernails too to scrape the rest
to finish it off.
Yeah, or she had a tool, I can't remember. See, That's how fast you can get it. And you didn't soak it very long, right?
No,
About
just
half an hour now since, or 3/4 of an hour.
yeah, that's about it.
And it's already ready to work. And this is what you weave with. You see how flexible it becomes once you get it into the water. You can weave anything with this. They use it for string too. I could show you how to do that very
So when
quickly.
I went to go and make a big basket like this one over here,
Yeah.
I could use this stuff to be my rope to tie it when I start it.
Yeah, that's what we did. That's what we did. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to weave a rope with this. It makes very, very strong rope. So I'll just use my fingernails too, maybe. If that was set up like Achtigheid was on a post, it would be, or on a, yes, set up on a big bench. So there I go. Then to make string, you can cut it in half if you like. So this is the part where you will gently find exactly half of this if you could. If I could. It might not be ready because we didn't soak it long enough. It might not be ready, but I will. See how we can split it?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you just sort of put it alongside like this, and then you try to you don't have to hold it, but it's just so that you can know. And then if you feel like more is going one way, of the root going one way, you just sort of pull it evenly, and then so there's more on this side, so I'll pull more to this side. So as you're doing it, you're sort of gauging it like this, and you just take, this is a good time when you're talking with someone and just visiting. That's what Achtigheid was doing when she's visiting with my mom, and my mom would help her.
Whichever side needs to get, whichever side
Gets
has
thicker, you pull that side.
Yeah, this thicker side you pull it and it will get thinner.
Yeah.
You
and
put
it'll balance out
more of an
again.
angle to it.
It'll sort of balance out. It sort of balances, but when you get to sort of a little kink like this, then it doesn't balance. You have to sort of gently just find out which way you have to pull. You have to pull where the thicker side is, right?
Yeah.
So you're doing that, okay. Now, this is how we split cedar roots. Isn't that amazing? And yeah. So it's very, very simple. And usually we do this when we're visiting, because, visiting with someone and just talking. A lot ago we didn't have TV and internet, so we had lots of time to visit. My dad died when I was 7, so my mom loved to go to visit every evening before we went to bed. She had a big family. My mom is a granddaughter of Wahid, the big chief. And she married a chief from Kimsquit, my dad.
Was it Lucy, her mom, or?
Who, my mom's mom was Sarah Louise.
Sarah Louise, okay.
So see, when you get to this part and you feel that it's getting thin, you could use a knife to help you get back to the center again, because it came off the center.
Yeah.
You gently use a knife so you don't break it. There, you see? So there you can carry on again.
Back to the center again.
Yeah. So that's why you have to have a very sharp knife. So you can go along like that all the way through. And of course we didn't wet this very much, but if it was wet overnight, it probably would be very fast to split. Okay.
What different kinds of roots could you use for this?
What I just know of is we use willow, we use spruce, and we use cedar. Willow we use for a lot for making baskets like that. So that's made with red willow.
Red willow or red osier dogwood?
Red, whatever. Yeah.
About 2/3 done here now.
when I was younger, I wanted to make, when young people got married, I would quickly make a nice little round basket about this big for them, but just about that high, so they could put their oranges and apples in. That's what I used to weave my baskets to hold my oranges and apples. There, this broke, so I'm going to show you now how to make string with it. So I'm going to wet it, because you have to keep it wet all the time. Otherwise, if you don't, and I will take 3 strands. So this one could be my strand that I'm going to use to carry on. And you always have one longer and one shorter than the other. So when you add on, you're adding on in different spots, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to hold, usually you tie the first part in a knot. And then later on you can weave it through. You tie this part in a knot. Or you could tie it onto a post too. If you had a post, you can tie it onto the post so that something could hold it. Whatever, but here we're just I'm just tying it to start, okay? So I got to start, and the reason why I need a start is so it won't come off. So they say that these are the very, very strong rope. They tested it out and said that, from what the history I read about it, was that they could hold like 25 to 30 pounds of pull, whatever you call it. I don't know what is it. But anyway, you turn it towards, away from you, twist it away from you, and you pull it towards you, and you hold it. You take the next one, and you turn it away from you. Now, if we could have this really wet, it would be way easier, but we didn't have it that wet. And then you turn it. So I got 3 times, twice, and this is the 3rd one, right? I'm going to wet it again because it feels like it's going to break. So then you just sort of go like this when you're sitting down, but you can also do this another way where you twist.
So as basically you just keep on twisting and folding it over, and they get together. So you're twisting it away from you,
and then pulling it
towards
me. And then you try to get the next strand. You twist it away and pull it toward you. So so this one here, I must have missed this one because it shows. So you can almost see the string there happening. You see that part?
Yeah. Yeah, let's just make sure I can see it clear.
Go close right up. See the string?
Yeah.
So that is a very, very strong string. Very, very strong. They use this to fish with.
Huh.
They made their hooks too out of cedar. I went to I took an anthropology course when I was working with one of my university courses years ago, and they showed us a halibut hook made out of a tree. I don't know what kind of tree it was now. I'm not too sure if it was spruce or cedar. And where they got that hook was from the slide that killed a lot of people in South Bentic.
Oh, that's just down the channel from...
Yeah, that's where they picked up that...
It's out me met Khdis, I think it's called.
That's where they picked up that, what do you call it, the item, archaeology item?
Yeah, I think they call those axe. Those halibut hooks.
What they showed was if you get a modern metal halibut hook today, it's exactly as the Nuxalk one. So they got the idea of making halibut hooks by the Nuxalk people.
Or else they ended up with the same idea anyways.
They could have, yeah. but the anthropologist thinks that it was made through observing our artifacts,
Yeah.
because there were so many years.
Because people in BC and stuff have always used those kind of hooks for a very long time.
Yep. Yeah, so it just was passed upon on knowledge because we're all intermixed. Look at me, I come from Kimswood, I come from Nuxalk, I come from part Kitlope, so we're all mixed families, right? Because of intermarriage.
With lots of shared knowledge.
Yeah. So then as you get longer, you could see the string more now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you make. This one was a cedar. This came from your cedar. Was it cedar that you?
Either cedar or spruce, I don't know. But I think it was cedar.
Yeah, so that's how you do it. It's awesome, eh?
Wow, well thank you very, very much.
Okay. Why?
Why?